This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
I find this interesting, this article, mainly because of the last sentence in the article. Okay, this is regarding the Ole Miss appeal for their quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, who's trying to get a sixth year of college football. Okay, his waiver was denied by the NCAA Athletics Eligibility Subcommittee. He was looking for a medical red shirt stemming from his second year at Ferris State in 2022. This initial request was denied on January the 9th. This decision was generally expected, but now he's going to go to court. He's going to file for an injunction. At stake is literally millions of dollars for him because of his NIL deal with Ole Miss, and he would probably not get that in the NFL. Okay. Apparently, just to peel back the onion just a little bit, he did not dress for a single game that year while suffering from severe incapacitating medical conditions. And the NCAA, in its initial statement, indicated a lack of proper medical documentation. Okay, so this is a tit for tat, going back and forth, right?
Okay.
So here's the last line in this, in which the NCAA, when they argued in their filing in state court this week, they said this: college sports will become ungovernable if eligibility determinations are instead the result of individual court decisions.
Wow. Welcome to 2026, folks. We've been having some of that conversation since 2024.
Yeah, and my thought was, God, we kind of already reached that point, haven't we?
Yeah, feels like quite a while ago.
Yeah. Now, are they right? Yeah, I mean, I guess they are right, but I don't know how you put this toothpaste back in the tube, so to speak. And I'm not here to tell you that he should or shouldn't get an additional year. I mean, there have been plenty of guys that have gotten additional years. I mean, just look at what happened with, the quarterback from Miami this year. I mean, he was, on his seventh year. He made a career out of it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if it's true that he didn't play a single snap, but I mean, okay, so that's, I guess he'd already had
it seems like he has a bit of a case.
Yeah,
yes.
It seems like he has a case. Yeah, seems like, and I'm sure that there's more to it, right? Ole Miss called the decision indefensible, and so they're obviously going to pursue this and encourage Mr. Chambliss to pursue this. Ole Miss said yesterday, we'll continue to pursue all available legal remedies, and we will publicly stand behind Trinidad while holding the NCAA accountable for a decision that fails to align with its own rules, precedent, and the documented medical record. But I don't know that you can ever say that the college sports are governable by the NCAA, given everything that the NCAA has given back or that the courts have taken from them over the past 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And look, there was a point in time, and I'm sure you remember those days too, Jamie, but there was a time where the NCAA ruled with an iron fist. And they were allowed to rule with an iron fist because the presidents and the chancellors of the universities, the stakeholders, gave them that power. And as time went through, and maybe this is just a function of money and sponsorships, that as it went through and you realized, oh my God, we're being punished for our atrocities here, and even though the penalty was that we're getting punished for the crime that we did, the punishment's pretty harsh, because when you put teams on probation, or you took away television money, or you took away their right to be on TV or scholarships, there was a point in time when the cost of that wasn't that severe, right?
Okay.
You know, like in my youth, there was a point where like, okay, well, you got put on probation because you gave a kid a car and you got caught.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. You lost a couple scholarships.
You lost
or
a couple
whatever.
scholarships, but not every game was on TV in those days. You know, and not everything was being sponsored in those days. And, you know, you didn't have signage in stadiums and commercials on the scoreboard and all those kinds of things. And you weren't paying coaches, you know, literally millions of dollars. And now you're paying athletes literally millions of dollars. So as a result, I think the chancellors and the presidents and the athletic directors, they clawed away that power from the NCAA as time went through, and depending on who the head of the NCAA was, that person also made mistakes in allowing some of those things to happen.
I just feel like the NCAA gave power back. I think the NCAA became so afraid of litigation and so beat down by the litigation of their rules and their standards of the way college sports were going to be done, that the NCAA basically just did, okay, whatever. You guys do whatever you want. And they gave up. They gave up, and they went from ruling with the iron fist to basically not ruling at all.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is why I say I have a hard time sometimes feeling bad for what's happened to the athletic departments, because I feel like you guys could have stopped this. You guys brought this on yourself. Okay, you guys were the one that, I want Jimmy to be able to play a seventh year, so we're gonna help him sue the NCAA so he can play again. And you opened up Pandora's box. And do I think that athletes should have been given more when so much money was being made? Yes. But I don't feel like they should have just whipped the doors open and said, all right, we give up, have at it. And the NCAA, they just gave up. They gave up because of the fear of litigation, and too many judges involved that have no concept of the rules and regulations of how sports are handled are making decisions for the real world that aren't sports decisions. And the NCAA said, well, if you guys are just going to keep suing us, why do we punish anybody for anything? If you're going to just go back and bring judges and courts into this and let them make the decision, well, fine. Have it your way. I mean, I know that's the simplest form of it, but that's kind of what I feel like happened. And that fear of litigation just made the NCAA give up.
It's become almost toothless.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thursday, February 5th, 2026. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
I tried to have something fun today. I don't know if I succeeded, but I tried.
Okay.
1931, Malcolm Campbell sets a world land speed record of 246.8 miles per hour, driving his famous Bluebird car at Daytona Beach, Florida. And remember, that's only 300 miles per hour slower than Chuck Heinz Pinewood Derby car.
Why did I know that was going to be mentioned?
Because it always is.
Is this kind of the genesis of the Hudson Hawk for Lightning McQueen?
No, he was inspired by Steve McQueen and by NASCAR in general.
Okay.
That was kind of the moniker I got from it.
Okay.
Now, if you're talking about the fabulous Hudson Hornet, he was a NASCAR. That was the Hudson Hornet that was in NASCAR in the 40s.
Okay.
40s,
right.
Maybe early 50s.
Okay.
I'd have to dive on that one.
50s probably. Yeah.
1948. 18-year-old Dick Button becomes the first American men's figure skating Olympic gold medalist at the Winter Games. He was the first to complete a double axel in competition. He would retain the title until 1952. So through, two more Olympics, he was still the gold medal winner.
So he won 3 gold medals?
Won 3 golds.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting there being forced to watch figure skating later. You can tell the person forcing you to watch, hey, do you know who the first person to complete a double axel in competition was? Dick Button.
All right.
See, I'm helping you out there, guys.
Way to go, Mr. Button.
Cute as a button.
Well, I'm not going to judge another man's looks on this that way, but hey. 1989, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar becomes the first NBA player to score 38,000 points. That's a lot. 2003, Bob Knight becomes only the fourth Division I men's basketball coach to earn 800 wins as Texas Tech beats Nebraska 75-49 in Lubbock.
We had some Coach Knight confetti from his win when they won on New Year's Day to go past Dean Smith as the all-time winningest coach come down from the rafters the other day during a Lady Raider game.
Okay, I heard you guys talking about that.
That's kind of a we really enjoy it when that happens. It'd been about a year since that had happened. We thought that was over, but we really enjoy when that confetti comes down because people are trying to figure out where did that come from.
Man,
Yeah. Does it only happen during the Lady? Does it only happen during the Lady Raider games? Because I've never.
I've seen it happen during some Red Raider games, but it's.
I've never noticed the guys talking about it.
Well, I mean, they're probably breaking down the game, talking about specific plays and things like that.
That's silly.
Right. That's silly. Why would anybody want to be interested in that when they got confetti coming down? They're trying to figure out where it's coming from.
2005.
Sarcasm.
Jarius Jackson scores 34 points, and Texas Tech upsets number 14 Oklahoma 88-81 to end the Sooners' 14-game home win streak.
He could hoop it up a little bit, couldn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in 2011, Chuck, if I said the voice of the NFL, who am I talking about?
I'm going to say...
What year?
I haven't given the year yet, but if I were just to say the voice of the NFL,
I'd say John Facenda.
That's what I would say.
That's
too.
a good guess. Ed Sable of NFL Films is elected and enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And they call him the voice of the NFL?
He was the one.
The first name was Ed?
Ed. You're
Ed
thinking
Sable.
of his son.
Okay, that's exactly Steve.
Yeah, Steve. Ed was the one that
he
started.
Was the guy that does and that started NFL Films. He's the reason we have it.
Yeah, and he got involved and invested his own money, and it's like anything else. I mean, he created content and created value, and then the NFL. They said, oh, yeah. They said sure initially, and then as it become more and more popular, they're like, we need to be compensated for that, Ed.
Okay.
One NFL executive said, while we play the game, he holds the flame.
I wouldn't call him the voice of the... I'd call him maybe the spirit or something like that.
All right, that's fair. Happy World Nutella Day. Never had it because I don't have a peanut allergy, so I can have regular peanut butter.
Oh, is that what that is?
It's hazelnut butter, basically. Nutella?
Nutella, but they have like a chocolate, though. It's not just peanut butter.
Right. The hazelnut has a chocolate flavor to it, which is where that comes from.
Yeah.
But because I've never had a peanut allergy, I've never had to look for other sources of easy spreadable awesomeness.
My daughters love it. I don't think they eat it because they have a peanut allergy. I think they eat it because it's like chocolate.
They like the taste.
Yeah. So I think plenty of people, Jeff, eat it for different reasons than the peanut allergy thing.
Cristiano Ronaldo is 41. Michael Sheen, 57. Laura Linney is 62. Sarah Evans, 55. Roberto Alomar, 58. Adam Everett, 49. Roger Staubach, 84. And Darryl Waltrip. Boogity Boogie Booty Boys, let's go 79. And on this day, in 1883, the Southern Pacific Railroad completes its transcontinental sunset route through from New Orleans to California, establishing its dominance over the rail traffic to the Pacific. This was a year after the first transcontinental railroad that completed and this is the Southern Connection. The Texas and Pacific Railroad had already been pursuing the westward track through the southern part to the Pacific, and they were going at a very fast pace. Marshaling in his awesome energy and financial resources, Huntington, who was owner of the company, began driving his Southern Pacific line eastward and won the race in 1881. When he linked the Southern Pacific to the Santa Fe Railroad in Deming, New Mexico, creating the second American transcontinental railroad. And that is this day in sports history.
This day in sports history. Did they do a golden spike for that?
I don't know. I haven't been there to find out. I know they did the golden spike in Utah.
Yeah.
For the first one. I don't know.
That Promissory Point, is that where that was done?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they did the golden spike, then they immediately took it out.
Didn't want to leave a golden spike there. Some prospector will come.
Some Yahoo
claim it. Yeah.
Well, gold also, you have to tap it very carefully. If you're driving in a spike, you're not tapping it in carefully. Gold is a very soft metal. So they tapped the first one in to, quote unquote, put the golden spike in, and then replaced it with an actual railroad spike probably 3 or 4 times since then.
Yeah. Probably put a real one in first, so they didn't really even have to tap it. They could just drop it into place.
Pretty much.
Yeah. We really need to get Jeff his own kind of random, just kind of knowledge show where people say, tell me about Nutella, and then he pontificates. Tell me about...
You act like I'm the only person that knows this stuff.
Well...
I'm way not.
Well, I know you're not, but you do a really good job of communicating that and making us understand that.
Do you think in 6 months I'll be able to tell you who the second Continental Railroad was?
No, but I think you.
I do a little bit of research every morning.
I know, but I'm paying you a compliment in all sincerity.
We think the McGuire podcast, or
just
Deep Thoughts with Jeff McGuire, randomness with Jeff McGuire,
extra knowledge, extra knowledge with Jeff McGuire.
Okay,
tidbits.
Don't I have enough work to do around here?
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Hines. Great to have you with us today on the Morning Drive. So, 2 years ago, in December of 2023, this is for the class of 2024, you got some pretty big names still playing for you that are big contributors for you. That you felt like that they were going to be good players. Cam Dickey's one of them. Will Hammond, who is rehabbing his knee, is one of them. Jacoby Williams, going to be another, big key for your offense. I think both those guys, even with your running back coming back that you brought in from USC. Jacob Ponton was part of that class in 2023 for the 2024 season. So, but it's funny because as you've kind of gone through, and Micah Hudson was the star of that class. So it'll be interesting to see what his role is going to be this next year. If he has a chance to have a little bit of a breakout.
Yeah, no question. I mean, from everything you heard, he was doing good things in practice and just couldn't break the starting lineup. So, hopefully now that he gets his chance, that he can step right in and have the kind of productions like we saw from the other guys.
And the thing that's probably the thing that this class has been affected by the most in terms of not really, for lack of a better way of saying it, getting the opportunity to grow within the program and get meaningful reps is the next year, the 2025 year, is when you started paying all this money to guys. And so
started bringing in transfers from elsewhere.
Yeah, bringing in transfers. That's the better way to say it.
Yeah.
But my point is that you got a bunch of guys on here whose names I could give you, and you're like, yeah, he hasn't played. Yeah, he hasn't played. Yeah, he hasn't played. Yeah, he hasn't played. He hasn't played because you brought in you brought in established guys that were at the end of their, quote, college careers that might have just 1 or 2 years left, but that's catapulted you into a Big 12 championship.
Yeah, and you're hoping those guys developed during that time, even though you didn't see them maybe as much as you thought you were going to when they signed on the dotted line on signing day. But hopefully that they've gotten better and they can handle being, the top of these position groups and not just a depth piece.
Yeah. The other the other thing that kind of gives me pause is, and you're going to say, yeah, I can remember those. I can remember those days. Is that I remember when you had guys that forgoed their second semester, their senior year, and people really lamented that to the point where, like, yeah, man, he's going to miss out on prom. He's going to miss out on his basketball season. He was a baseball guy that's not going to play baseball now because he's going to go get a little bit of a head start on his football career. Well, now, if you're one of these top high school players that's signing with a program, if you don't do that, you're not getting ahead. You're like acres behind everybody.
Yeah, there's no question. And I don't think I lament it as much as you do. It's a choice that they make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's a part of me that, because I think some guys want to do that. Mm-hmm. Okay? I think there are other guys that have been pushed into doing that. Okay. Meaning, hey, the offer is there for you if you come now. It's not if you're coming in June.
Yeah.
After you graduate high school. So I hate that for those guys. But once again, choice. You and your family are making that choice.
Yeah.
They can't make you do it. You don't have to go to their school. So you have a choice. So again, I think everybody's allowed to make their own choices. So if they miss prom, then that was because of a choice that they made.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I guess I just and this sounds old fuddy-duddy, kind of me, but sometimes I feel like that we accelerate things so fast that you don't necessarily get to enjoy your childhood or your youth or your college experience or something along those lines. And so sometimes I feel like that things that you used to wait for to get to anticipate, you're doing now in middle school.
Yeah.
And that's just the acceleration of life and what we've seen. But
yeah.
Again, I'm just.
You mean handing out championship rings to kids that win, Little League baseball tournaments when they're 6?
Yeah. But it's just right. I mean, it's like I don't. We've talked about that before, and again, it makes us sound really old. But I mean, on the other hand, it's like, hey, there's an aspect of learning how to have some grit.
Yeah, the world's just different now.
Yeah.
The world's just different. I also think that there are plenty of kids that go back and go to prom. And I would think if you really wanted to graduate with your class, that you would be allowed to, right? Yeah. If you graduated in December but wanted to walk with all your friends in May, surely your high school would let you do that.
I would think so.
And surely a coaching staff would let a kid go home for the weekend for graduation, if that's what is important to him.
Yeah.
Surely, you would think the two sides can still allow them to do some of those things.
Yeah, I think 10 years ago or 5 years ago, the rules were harsher on that, but I think the softening of society has allowed for that to be a little bit more bending. But I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, we talked earlier about the NCAA and how they gave back the power to the. Or they ceded their power, really, is what they did more than anything else. And I think you could say, if you look at just life in general, that whether it's authority figures at the office or politically or even parents, they've ceded a lot of power where they used to be like, this is the way it is, buddy boy, don't cross that line, as opposed to, hey, it would be really nice if you'd go clean your room,
I think the texter makes a great point about guys want to get to college early now so they can start making money early too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No question.
Yeah. But if you're going to have a chance to play as a true freshman, it's giving you a massive advantage if you're there in the spring.
Yeah, it's something that you've absolutely got to do. So,
also, if you're really worried about prom, his girlfriend can still invite him to prom. He doesn't have to be the one that has to, be the one in school.
Yeah,
you're allowed to go with your girlfriend.
I can't imagine any high school, if a kid graduated early so he could go on to work for a football program, that they would be like, no, you can't come back and go to prom. I can't imagine any high school would do that.
You're probably right, but it's interesting. It's interesting what you
now
just
he
said.
can do it 3 years later. Whenever he can be 24, you know, when he's doing it.
Right. There's rules against that.
I think there is.
It's interesting you said you go to work for a football program, because that's essentially what it is.
It is.
And what's interesting is at some point in time, these guys are going to be declared employees and gals of these universities, which they do not. I don't think the universities want to get into that, where they become a, quote, employee of the university, because then that brings a whole different set of rules and things like that, and benefits that could affect both sides positively and negatively. It's a conundrum. I think at some point in time we're probably going to have a union of college football players.
Yeah, I don't think it'll change my interest in the sport or anything. I just all of it just feels like they're employees now, and I mean, it is what it is.
All right, coming up next, normally we do Jamie's question of the day. Instead, the questions will be directed at the head softball coach of the Texas Tech Red Raider softball team, Gerry Glasco. We'll visit with Coach Glasco next this morning on the Morning Drive at 7:30.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, good morning, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the Morning Drive. We have with us on the Visual Edge IT hotline the head softball coach of the Texas Tech Red Raider softball team, Gerry Glasco, whose team gets underway today. Coach, it's a highly anticipated season with lots of expectations. How do you and your team embrace that?
Well, it's easy because, you're a softball player or you're a softball coach, so you love the game, and then you thrive on competition. If you get to the level that we want to be at, you're a player that thrives on competition and the opportunity to compete. So it's really easy. I mean, it's just fun. We got a lot of great athletes. They love each other. Practice last night was, the whole month of January and February, practice has been so fun because these kids love playing with each other. So it's got to embrace competition.
Well, along those same line, Coach, you guys are so incredibly talented, and in January and February, you guys have had these inter-squad scrimmages to get ready. How much fun has it been for you as a coach to watch these guys compete, or these girls compete against each other day in and day out, knowing how talented they are?
Just beyond amazing, and we're built for whatever comes at us. That the roster's deep. Last night one of our starting infielders tweaked something, and soft tissue injury, and so we held them out of practice just to be sure. We'll see what they feel like when they wake up this morning, but we just plugged that hole right in, and so I'm sitting there watching. We put two more players in that position, and I'm just thinking I'm the luckiest coach in America this year. It's just so fun to have depth that you can take care of your players and just move right on fluidly forward and know that you're going to be fine, and the kids that we put in that position to back her up probably would be as good a player as any player on any other team in this tournament. So it's just really amazing time and amazing experience and just so much fun.
We're visiting with the head softball coach at Texas Tech, Gerry Glasco, on the Visual Edge IT hotline. Coach, has anybody stood out to you or surprised you so far just in preseason workouts? Or like, no, I didn't know that she had that in her.
There's just so much talent up and down the roster. it's amazing to watch them every day. And what's happened is they've all elevated each other. So, like, things become less, you know, the normal, what used to be outstanding or elite has become very normal. And so I don't know that any one player has stood out, but the entire roster. And when you look at, here's an example. Last year in preseason, January and February, we had 471 at-bats in our preseason scrimmages. We hit 9 home runs. This year we had almost identical. We ended up with 471. So we had 2 more at-bats. Last year, 469. This year, 471. But instead of 9 home runs, they hit 33 home runs.
Wow.
So we're hitting home runs at like 4 times the pace of last year. And I had never noticed that. I hadn't noticed it. I mean, I knew we got more power this year. I knew that we were going to hit more home runs this year. But when you're talking about 4 times, I mean, that's like 50 mile an hour down the highway compared to 200 miles an hour down the highway, with 4 times more. So, and it looks normal in practice every day. I mean, every scrimmage almost we're hitting 5, 6 home runs, and you don't really think about it. Whereas a year ago we'd play 2 scrimmages to get 1 home run. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a really good chemistry right now on the ball club.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned that chemistry right there. That was the question I was going to ask. You bring back a lot of talented girls, and then you've added to the mix a lot more that are really talented as well. What's the key to making that chemistry mesh together?
Yeah, well, I think if you think about our ball club, we come so close to winning the national championship. We got beat in the national championship game, the 3rd game. I mean, we couldn't have come closer, and yet we didn't win it. So every kid on our roster wants to win that ring. They want to win the national championship. And then, so if you think about that, how bad they want to win and how they realize we're close, but we still got to improve. And then every athlete that transferred into our program, they knew what they were walking into. They knew they were walking into an extremely competitive team that had a deep roster, that had almost every player returning. So they knew they were coming into that roster to compete, but with the opportunity to win a national championship. So everyone knew what they were doing, and everyone knew what they chose to do. We had one player who said, "Hey, I don't want a part of this. I want to transfer out." And everybody else came back knowing exactly what was happening. So the kids are here because they want to win the national championship. And they knew when they came in it wasn't going to be easy. They knew when they come in they wasn't just going to walk into an empty position. They knew they were going to have to compete. So to me, it's pretty simple to understand why the chemistry is so good. They all got what they wanted. They came to a team that has the physical ability to compete for a national championship. And that's what we want to push, and so many things can go wrong. It takes everything to go right. There's only one way to win a national championship, and there's 100 ways. When you think about injury, a flu bug can hit you. You know, you can play one bad inning, you can make one critical error in a 2-1 game. There's just, you can hit a batter on the arm. There's so many ways to lose a game in the path to the national championship, and there's only one way to win it. So you have to be really elite to get there. So that's the dream that we're all living right now, and it's just fun. And the kids know what they're at. We're very transparent, and it's been unbelievable chemistry all year so far.
Coach, just real quick here to open up the season on the road and all the games that you have. What's the mindset going into this game today to get things started?
Just have fun. My worry is that we'll press, that we'll try to live up to expectations instead of trying to compete. And I talk to them all the time about don't play with expectation. Don't play thinking I need to go 3 for 3 so my batting average is good, or I need to go 3 for 3 so we can win today. We need to go into this game today relaxed, having fun, and we need our focus of each individual player is to make the 8 players on the field around them better. If you're in the dugout and not in the starting lineup, obviously there's nothing you can do. when you're not in that starting lineup, there's really nothing you can do except be a great teammate and make the kids that are in the lineup better players. So it's just focusing on the other player and making them the best they can possibly be. Even if you're in the lineup, that's what you want to do. You want to make those other 8 players around you comfortable and play their best. And if we can keep that attitude all year, we'll be in great shape.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time this morning. Good luck to your team. And this will be the first of hopefully many conversations that we have with you as we get ready for Texas Tech Red Raiders softball on one of our stations, 92.3 The Hub. We'll have all of the home games and all of your postseason games, and hopefully a national championship game that comes out with a Red Raider win at the end of the day. Good luck to you, Coach, and thank you for being with us today. This is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, we're a little bit late today because of our interview an hour ago with Coach Glasco. You can hear that up on doubleTSportsNetwork.com if you want to go and listen to it, of course, after this show ends, especially after Jamie's question of the day.
Yeah.
Today's question is an impossible question to answer without feeling bad about it. I am going to ask you which of your children you like more. There are hopes, rumors, thoughts, whispers, the potential of having both JT Toppin and Christian Anderson back next season for the Red Raider men's basketball team. If you could pick only one to come back, which one would you pick?
Man, neither one of those just grow on trees where you can just go pick them off the basketball tree.
No question.
I'm going to go with the one that I think is most likely to be back, okay? Because I think that we've been very accustomed to his double-double, and he's a double-double machine. And he's a guy that gives you paint presence and all those kinds of things and then can rebound. But to me, I'd take JT Toppin and bring him back. He would be my choice over Christian Anderson. He's going to be the Big 12 Player of the Year, or at least looks like he's headed to that again. And I think he's a guy that can put you on his back and say, "Okay, come with me, boys. We're going to go to the promised land." I realize that his free throw shooting kept you from that last year, but hopefully he gets an opportunity to fix that.
Okay.
Chuck's got a really good answer. Then again, I started with that answer, but then I shifted to Christian Anderson. Because while JT Toppin is the Big 12 reigning Player of the Year and the preseason Player of the Year, Christian Anderson's been the straw that stirred your drink this year when it comes to offensive production. He's been the one carrying a lot of the load. I will return those points and that athletic ability and the possibility of a triple-double and not just the double-double machine.
Okay. I think Christian Anderson is the one with the better NBA future. I think JT Toppin is the one who is harder to replace. I feel like really, I don't want to say, good guards are easier to find than crazy talented bigs like JT Toppin is. I think my answer is Toppin. This is, like I said, impossible to not feel bad because love both players, love the effort, love the intensity, love their game, and love that they each continue to improve. I just think it would be harder to replace Toppin. It feels like there's more elite guards than there are elite bigs. and I think they're both elite at their positions. I just think Toppin would be harder to get a guy who could come in and do the same kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think we get this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Because you have Jalen Petty, I would pick JT Toppin.
Yeah, Petty right now okay, let me say this. Petty has not shown the ability to be a creator for others like Christian Anderson has. Mm-hmm. But I think I would have said the same thing about Christian Anderson this time a year ago. I don't think he was as good creating and making his teammates better as he is right now. So what I'm saying is maybe Jalen Petty has that same ability. We're just not really asking him to do it in this scenario where he's playing off the ball and, hey, your job is to go score.
Yeah.
You're not a facilitator, where Christian has done such a good job with that this year. So giving him the benefit of the doubt, maybe, when asked to play a little bit different game next year, he'll be able to do that.
Maybe giving him his opportunity. I wonder who Grant McCaslin would say. Oh,
man. I think Grant McCaslin would say, don't make me answer that question.
Yeah, that's right. What have I done to you to make you want me to spill the beans on this? Uh-huh. Who knows? It might be one of those deals where, depending on who played the best last, would be who he would go with, or who he feels like he can build his team around. But I do think that Toppin will be back next year.
Okay.
I do think that, and I think that Christian Anderson will probably put himself in the draft, and probably should.
Where the latest projections are in the teens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'd have the potential to get himself inside the lottery, inside the top 10 if he stayed. Mm-hmm. So there's something to gain with that.
Sure.
But depends on what you're dying to do. Are you dying to be done playing school and let's just go do this all the time? Let's go just hoop. Get it?
Done playing school. We get this. We've had a number of guys that could shoot from the outside, but very few that could penetrate and score in the paint.
Christian brings everything to the table. I mean, his 3-point range is phenomenal. His decision making is terrific. His vision on the court is really, really good. He can finish at the rim. Did I already say decision making? Because I think it's really good. He just does so many things well. But JT Toppin, I mean, there's been great bigs that have come through college basketball. They don't average double-doubles. They don't put up, 6 or 8 30-point games in a season. I mean, JT is something special. There's no question. His skill set is really, really impressive. Just does it translate to the next level? That's the question.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.